and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of Build Your Difference. I'm your host, Pierre Walters, and I am joined today by the lovely Miss Morgan Carey. Now, Morgan is the CEO of Love to Life Coaching, and she is a breast cancer survivor and a certified life coach. Now, Morgan has over 15 years of experience in Spanish language coaching, human resources, interview, resume, and career coaching. And today she's joined with us to give us a little insight into her journey as an entrepreneur, plus some announcements that she'll make today on the show. Morgan, welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and Build Your Difference. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Morgan, your story is incredibly inspiring, and I would like to hear from you. What was your journey to get to where you are now with Love to Life Coaching?
Thank you. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that, but let me tell you a story first. So I want you to imagine a young mother with 2 children already, and she's a married young mother, and she finds out she's pregnant. I'm super excited to be pregnant and, just ready for this new baby. Wanted a baby girl, so it was great news, and so she goes to the doctor for a checkup and finds out, the doctor comes in and says, I don't have the best news, but we have some options. We're happy that you're pregnant, but, we found breast cancer. And you have some options. You can either start your treatment now, but you'd have to terminate your pregnancy, or you can, take it full term, deliver baby, and then we'll see, how to treat the cancer. And she says, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and carry to term, and I will, worry about the cancer after baby gets here. So, fast forward 9 months and baby arrives. Baby girl is healthy, happy, and ready to take on the world. Mom goes ahead and she fights breast cancer for 2 years, but unfortunately, she loses her battle with breast cancer and she passes away. And at that point, baby girl is 2 years old. And if you can't tell yet, baby girl is me, And so I always say, if you look in the dictionary, up the word resilience. There's probably a picture of me there somewhere, because I learned very early, or had to learn very early in life, how to be resilient. Of course, unconsciously, as a baby, I'm already learning to be resilient and work through that trauma. And so fast forward a little bit forward, and my dad remarries this wonderful woman who is also my mother. And so navigating life through that, we fast forward a little bit further, 30 some odd years later, and here I am coming out of my own breast cancer diagnosis.
Wow.
Yeah. So
please tell me more about that. I mean, just the journey of the cancer, your experience with that in the journey. What was that?
Yeah. So I had, cancer has kind of been, I always say it was riding in the passenger seat with me, like throughout life. It was always a worry that it would happen, because I always knew my story. I always knew about my biological mother and, what she had gone through and her story. And so I always wondered, was that going to happen to me? And I remember specifically asking my father, do you think that that's going to happen to me? And, back then they had said that it wasn't genetic. They couldn't find any proof that it was genetic. So I went through life not really worrying about it. Of course, years later, I started going to the doctor as an adult, and they're saying, you probably do need to get checked for the gene, because they learn new things. Science is developing all the time, and so I when it was time, I never did get checked for the gene, but I was doing all the things, doing my breast self-checks, which I always promote, check, because I also go regularly for mammograms as well. But did my self-check, and there was the lump. So it's the absolute scariest thing ever, right? There's a lot of emotions, a lot of things you have to deal with, a lot of doctor's appointments, but the support that I've had is nothing short of amazing. So a rough journey, but resilience, right?
Yeah, resilient. And so you said that you're a survivor. You're coming out of this now.
Absolutely.
And how did you sort of pivot? Well, I don't want to say pivot. Pivot is not the word, but how did you use your story to then decide to launch Love to Life coaching?
Yeah. So like you mentioned in your introduction, I've been in coaching for at least 15 years. Started out, with language coaching. I absolutely love language, love spoken word, whether it's written or verbal. And I've used like language coaching to help people with learning a language for personal use, for school, for business, to advance in their careers, and kind of move that into the career and resume coaching as well, using communications to help people advance their careers. And it wasn't always called Love to Life coaching. It was just really some ad hoc services offered by Morgan Carey, right? Okay. But I established the name. Really, I didn't realize I was foreshadowing for what I was going to need in the future, really. And I truly believe that you have to love your dreams to life, and that's how we got the name, Love to Life Coaching. If you love your dreams enough, like, you take action to do them, to make them happen. So yeah, that's how we came up with the name. And I didn't know that I would be foreshadowing into a part of the practice that would need developing through my own story, through my own resilience. And so that's how we got the part of the practice of resilience life coaching.
When you were sort of offering your ad hoc services, and what were the most important lessons that you learned as a business owner, and as a service provider, and as a coach at that time, that really played an important, if not fundamental, role in what you're doing now with life coaching?
Yeah. It's one of the biggest things is that you have to take action, right? And so I've learned that as developing as an entrepreneur, and then taking action is really not about that huge thing. You always want to get to your ultimate goal, right? But it's really about all the things that you do to get there, like the journey, right? Yeah. It's really about the journey. And so I use that as far as goal setting and planning to help myself and to service my clients as well, to let them know, it's really about the little things that you're doing on your way to the ultimate goal.
I like that. What is it that you hope people will gain by working with Love to Life coaching? Well, what is the thing you want your clients to really take away from that experience? You?
I'd say I want them to gain a lot of things by working with
So it's not just one thing?
It's not just one thing, because you're going to gain, a confidant, you're going to gain like someone, a cheerleader, you're going to gain someone that is there, a supporter. But if I could name two things that I'd like for them to take away, it would really be confidence and clarity. Clarity really about what they want to see happen in their lives and how they want to get there, right? And then the confidence to believe that they can do it.
So when you're taking on a new client, or maybe in your experience with clients in the past, have you noticed that people, they have an idea of where they want to go, but they don't have clarity, it's foggy? And is this a reoccurring thing that you've noticed? And how difficult is it to help bring clarity into someone's life when it comes to what their vision is? How difficult is that? Yeah,
sometimes we are foggy when we may have all of these ideas, and this happens to me often, my mind goes a mile a minute, right? We have all of these ideas of what we may want to bring to fruition, but we're cloudy on really how to get there, right? You can say as many like great sayings or like you love your dreams to life kind of thing, but a lot of times clients are left with how do I get there? Like, they're like, that's great, Morgan, it sounds wonderful, but how do I get there? And so bringing clarity to how to take the action, what that means from day to day, from week to week, month to month. Yes, that I find that clients will be a little bit cloudy about that. Yeah. And like I said, I just spend time with them mapping out how we get there.
So you help them not only to bring clarity to the destination, but also what are the practical step-by-step actions that need to be taken over the course of time to actually get there. So you
Right.
help define that as well.
Yes.
So to me, that sounds like a lot of work. Because let me tell you, I can't even figure that out for myself sometimes. What motivated you to begin offering a service like this to customers?
Well, it's in them, it's inside of us, right? It's already there. Like half the battle is that you have this dream, like you have this idea, right? And you can get there, and it may feel like a lot of work, but I have this intention to live life to the fullest, and a big chunk of that for me is to be in service to others and help people to get there and help people live their dreams.
Okay, so looking into the future, what's your vision for this? Assuming that you're bringing in clients and you're changing lives, client by client, over the course of the next couple of years, maybe 3 to 5 years. What's your vision for where Love to Life coaching goes?
That's a wonderful question. What I would really like to see happen is our vision is to be coaching all over the world, really providing services worldwide. And I have a podcast, and the podcast is already doing that. It's already reaching people worldwide. So if I could say in the next 3 to 5 years, I'd really love to see the same thing for coaching services.
Okay. When you are, and this is more of a practical question, but when you are offering coaching services, especially with COVID, where we are now with the whole pandemic, is it mostly virtual? Is it mostly over the phone? Is it in person? What's the practical experience like, for a client who might want to work with you?
Yeah, like I said, I want to be worldwide, and I want to reach as many people as I can, and I find practically the best way to do that is to offer them by phone, or I love the virtual because I love to do it face to face as much as possible, and COVID doesn't allow us to do it as much in person as I would like, but I think it's more accessible now. We've learned a lot in COVID, and I think it's more accessible now to do it virtually. So that's how I offer the services.
Yeah, we absolutely have learned a lot. One of the things, there's a lot that I'm not happy about with the pandemic. Okay? I mean, there's a lot of adjustments we've had to make, but I'm very happy with the attention to cleanliness.
Yes.
I mean, like walking into stores and seeing the hand sanitizer and just seeing people paying a little more attention to. It was like it took a worldwide pandemic to get to this, but you know what? I'm glad we finally took that seriously. Anyway,
I can agree.
It's time for a short break. We're gonna take a quick break for some important messages, but when we come back, we're gonna hear more from Morgan Carey. Thank you so much.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented, mostly by making changes in your diet, controlling your weight, and of course, by not smoking. Visit prevent50.org and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, and more.
Welcome back. You're watching Skills to Pay the Bills in today's segment of Build Your Difference with my special guest, Morgan Carey. Now, prior to the break, we were actually talking about your coaching and the experience that you have coaching clients and their experience being a client of Love to Life coaching. So my question for you is about how long does it take for clients to begin to see results in their lives when they are engaged with you at Love to Life coaching?
Engage. I love that word because it really depends on how engaged they are. Because coaching isn't about really the coach. Really, it's really about the person that's receiving the coaching, right? So there's work to do. So if you think about a sports coach, right? I don't know anything about sports, right? I watch with whoever is in the room, and I'm rooting for like whoever's my dad's team, right? But I do understand that the coach is the one giving, advice kind of, right? But it's up to the player to do the things, right? It's up to the player to do the things. So you can see results as quickly as you are willing to do the thing.
Okay, so do the thing. Okay, so you've got a podcast called Do the Thing, which I love.
Absolutely.
That has got to be one of the best names for a podcast. What is the podcast about? What is Do the Thing?
You know what? I'm having so much fun with this podcast. The idea really came from a sister friend of mine. We were talking, and we talk a lot, and we were talking about how a lot of the things we talk about would be interesting to many people. People might want to listen, or they might want to chime in on the conversation. So we should talk about recording these conversations, right? And we were sitting there thinking, well, what would we call it? And I was like, let's just call it Do the Thing, because we're not worried about who's listening, who's not going to listen, how they're going to respond to it, because it's really about us setting a goal, setting an intention, and completing it, right? So it's about doing the thing. And isn't that what life is about? Like setting your goals, setting your intention, and doing it. So we absolutely love the name as well. I love the name and having so much fun doing it.
So what's the next big thing? Like, what's the next thing for you? You've got the podcast, you've got coaching. What's next?
Yeah. So, it's been a rocky year coming out of this diagnosis, and really the next thing, it may not seem big to many, but it is huge for me. I used to be, really into fitness prior to the cancer diagnosis. The chemo took me down a little bit. I couldn't do my exercises, and I used to run, and I plan on running my way right out of this diagnosis. So yes. I am going to do a 10K. Then the next goal is to hit a half marathon. I've done a 10K before, but I haven't done a marathon or a half marathon. So that's my goal.
Wow, that's impressive. I can't say that I could do that, or even could even remotely do a 10K. Try a 1K. What are the lessons that you've learned along the way becoming a CEO of your business? Now you've had multiple iterations of your business. So initially, and then when it became more of a life coaching business, and now even beyond, what lessons have you learned that you think you would like to share with those who might be watching? Yeah,
one of the big things is to not stop. And the key is the resilience, because we're gonna get knocked down, right? And resilience isn't about powering through against all odds and coming out all tattered and torn. That's not what resilience is about. Resilience is about the ability to bounce back, handle change effectively and in a positive way, but bouncing back in a healthy way. You have to take care of you. And so I would say not to stop, keep going, because you're gonna get knocked down, but use those experiences and your stories to help spur you forward, And I would also say take action. Always take action, because inaction is the true killer of dreams. And so if you're spending time thinking about it, planning it all out for it to be perfect, perfection doesn't exist, okay? You gotta just keep going and take action.
Why do you suppose people get so hung up on perfection? Why do you suppose that is?
Great question. I think it's fear. A lot, and fear of whatever it is. Sometimes we're fearful of what people are gonna think. We're fearful it's gonna fail. Sometimes we're fearful that it's gonna succeed, and then you have more work to do, right?
That's a good point.
So we wait, right? And we're waiting with the excuse of, I would like for it to be ready. I would like for it to be perfect. But perfection is just fear. Did you have
that kind of fear when you were deciding to become a coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I have not arrived. This is what I say. I have not arrived. It's a work in progress, And so every day you have to get up and face whatever the fear is. Like, is it going to work out? Is it not going to work out? Do I need to know everything I need to know before I get on this phone call with this client? But that's not necessarily true. You're just holding out and waiting for everything to be just right to get started. And I got news for you. It's never going to be just right. It's always more to do.
When this just reminds me of this idea of perfection and waiting for something to be perfect before you step out and and just do it. I spent probably 5 years working on building Brand Desk before it even launched, just all behind the scenes stuff, getting the thing situated. And then 2020, it was 2020. 2020 was the year that I was like, okay, we're gonna launch this year, but I was thinking we were gonna launch probably in like maybe November of 2020. But the pandemic hit the United States closer to maybe around February or March of that year. And I was thinking, oh, who's gonna wanna build their business and build their brand while we're stuck in a pandemic? I was like so upset, I was so depressed, I didn't know what to do. And one of my advisors, one of my mentors said, Pierre, this is the moment, this is the time, launch it right now. I was like, but it's not ready. It's not scheduled to be ready until the end of the year. No, launch it now. I was like, I thought about it, and I hemmed and I hawed, and I was like, oh, but there's so many things that aren't working exactly perfectly. This isn't working exactly the way it's supposed to be. I don't have a solution for this particular thing yet. And they said, Pierre, if you don't launch right now, you're gonna miss a golden opportunity. You can launch now and fix along the way, or you can wait until later and you'll miss this window. So I swallowed my pride, whatever it was that was holding me back, and I launched. And I'm so glad that I did, because I learned lessons that I could not have, it would be impossible for me to learn some of the lessons that I've learned if I had waited. Okay?
Absolutely.
And so when you say, just do the thing, just step out there, just go. That really resonates with me. It really does. So I want to know in your life, have there been other areas besides coaching where this kind of mentality, this approach has applied for you, where you've said to yourself, I'm just going to do the thing?
If you think about it, it applies all the time. I mean, we talked about my cancer diagnosis, and so you can imagine I've had some really sick days with the chemotherapy, and it applies even when you're not thinking about it applying, like not starting a business venture or not coaching, right? Just sometimes getting out of the bed was like, I just did the thing.
Oh, my
right?
God.
I just did the thing. Or, getting myself prepared for that day is like doing the thing. Because like I said, doing the thing is not just about the grand gesture. It's not about like the peak, right? Of course, you want to get to the peak, but it's all about the small things that go, like the journey, the small things going on your way to that big thing. So it applies every day. I said I wanted to do the half marathon, right? I said I wanted to do the 10K. Well, it's not about, the 10K is the ultimate goal, or the half marathon is the ultimate goal, right? But I have to do something before that, right? I got to put my shoes on, right?
Right.
I had to get outside. I got to actually start running, right? And I got to run from one street to the next street and to the next street. I have to do all of these things to actually get to the ultimate goal. And so every day you can say to yourself, I just did the thing, or I'm about to do the thing, and do it.
And do it. I really like that. I love it. Do the thing.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a new mantra for me. And I just think it's fantastic, and all credit goes to you.
Oh,
okay?
thanks.
Because I think you came up with a way of an approach that I think is going to resonate with it. It already is resonating with so many people, but I think it's going to resonate with so many more people because it really simplifies stuff that we make needlessly complicated.
Yeah.
I can't start this because I'm not good enough, or I don't have I'm not in shape enough to do the 10K.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but that's not the challenge. The challenge is put the shoes on and go to the gym and start.
Yes.
Or do one block. Run one block.
Maybe walk first.
Walk first. That's really what's holding you back. It's not your current condition. It's get up and do something to take incremental action. And I think it's to be fair, some would argue that it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sure in the battle for your life with cancer, that, like you said, just even getting out of the bed, easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's not always a simple process.
Exactly.
And I think in any major venture that we want to take in life, it is not always so easy. But if we can take time to kind of break things down to just the smallest actions.
Exactly. You'll find that you will feel and be more successful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I feel like you've already shared just a ton of really helpful and insightful little gems with us. And I want to ask you for just one more. If you could leave the show with just one more piece of insight that people can take away, what would it be?
Well, I have to keep going with, like I said, inaction is the true killer of dreams. And we don't want to kill dreams. We want to accomplish them. I truly believe you have to love your dreams to life, and you have to love them so much that you take steps towards them. And so the days of thinking about doing things are over.
Okay.
It's time to live with intention.
It's time to live with intention.
So if I could say overall, it would be live with intention and do the thing.
Live with intention and do the thing. I love it. Okay, so listen, it's that time again. And if you have any questions about today's segment, please see the information scrolling below. You've been watching Skills to Pay the Bills in today's segment of Build Your Difference. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.